Well,
That's not real journalism.
True journalism is giving the full story and the facts.
Because you're trying to manipulate us. And we don't want to be manipulated, especially when we're just trying to watch sports.
They're a bunch of morons.
Zion Williamson, he wants to come to Chicago. He's gonna end up.
It's more concerned with making the All-Star team than winning a championship.
I don't think we're gonna get Zion. I don't.
Not Tom Brady fans. No.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm not talking about Tom Brady fans. No. I'm not talking about the complete donkey riding suckers out there. I'm not talking about that.
I told you guys so. I've been yelling about this since about week 4. I told you so. I told you so.
We're not related.
Get along. I hate this sumbitch.
That's this fucking masshole over here.
Seriously right now? Hold on, I just fought it into this pillow. I gotta move it.
What's wrong with that? Yeah, you don't want to get some pink eye or nothing.
I don't like to rub it in people's faces that much.
Yeah, you do.
No, let me take that back. I like to rub it in people's faces. Let me take that back.
Don't lie to them.
Don't lie. Yeah. Sorry. So, listen. I told you guys so. I told you so. I told you so. This team is, first of all, let's talk, right? Brown and Tatum are two very good shooters. They can score. Both of them can score. No, I am not debating that in any way, shape, or form. Both of those guys are very skilled shooters. They can score and they can drive to the basketball. When they play aggressive, they're hard to stop. You know, they get the calls and they know how to work they know how to work their way to the rim and get the call, you know? I am not debating that in any way, shape, or form. But they are fucking selfish. And all they care about, each one of those guys, is their points. I need my stats. I need my stature. I need to build my brand and fuck the team. That's what it is. And that's not just those two. There's multiple guys on that team that just care about their brand, their stature, and that's it. Tatum and Brown are more concerned about making an all-star game than they are about winning an NBA title, because that's what makes they care about building their own brand over building the Celtics. And when was the last time you watched a Celtic game and said, wow, those guys pulled together and closed that game out and pulled a gritty win out, right?
Usually it's just iso ball.
Look at a team like the Bulls. So a perfect example. The Bulls play together as a team. They've been able to get these gritty wins. They've been down in the fourth quarter, with 6-8 minutes to go, pull it together, grind it out, and win by 2, 3, 4, 6 points at the end of games. And they step on the opponent's throat at the end and win. They close it out and they leave no doubts. This team is a group of individuals and not a team. And without wholesale change, JD, I don't think we're going to see any type of anything. I don't think without wholesale changes, we're not going to see anything better than a 500 team.
I think it's becoming fairly evident, like that, and I don't know when this stopped being a thing, but these GMs need to realize that certain guys just don't play together well. And that's just a fact. They just are not going to play together well. Tatum and Brown, Simmons and Embiid, they're not going to play together well. You might get all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, but it's going to unravel slowly. And that's what we're seeing right now. Obviously, they have to choose. In my opinion, you have to choose one, because you can't tear it all down. That just wouldn't make any sense. But I know what you mean. You have to literally like scrap at least half the team. You do, in order to build a new culture. So you got to choose which one wants to win more. Which one is more of a Celtic,
right? Let's be honest and upfront. Tatum is going to be the last bridge that they detonate to rebuild this. You know what I mean?
They seem to love him.
Be the last bridge that they have to, because. So, I don't know how from an outside, but like to me, they drafted Tatum and Brown, two really good, young, immature, built like they were just young building blocks that they had a ton of hope for when they drafted them. They had a ton of hope that they could develop and they could develop into top 15, top 20 guys in the league. You know what I mean?
Right.
Something, and this is what really gets me. Something, and I think you had hit it on the head before. Something stunted that development because they got to a certain point that they were sharing the basketball when they were, and you hit it on the head before when you said Kyrie Irving came into town. I think when you had said he poisoned their attitude and inflated their egos and just completely, I think, caused them in their development to go in a direction that was not good for the team.
Absolutely. What I said in a video, multiple videos actually, because I was very like right when Kyrie was traded, I was like, this is a disaster. Like I didn't like it immediately. And what I said after I saw it bake for a year, this is like my last video on it, is that the Celtics pre-Kyrie Irving, so the Isaiah Thomas Celtics that made it to the Eastern Conference Final, let's talk about that team for 1 second, and then we'll reference where we are now, is that team had actually all of the Celtics teams leading up to this point, and it just shows you how one person can do so much, but all the Celtics teams leading up, so like from 1960 to 2015, the Celtics have a culture of unselfishness. Boston, in fact,
and
has
grit,
a culture.
Dude. They grit. You know what I mean? Gritty. They were able to get these gritty wins.
What's the best matchup? Who, that's who we're gonna feed. You know what I mean? Like Kevin McHale would drop 60, and Ori would drop 40 sometimes. Like whoever had the best. That's when it was the Celtics with Isaiah Thomas and Tatum and all them. It was who has the best matchup. That's who's getting. Oh, Terry Rozier's got a good matchup. Give him the ball. We don't care. Doesn't matter. Whoever has the best matchup. That was the culture they built. They carved it out. And then they traded for Kyrie Irving. And they did so under the guise, if you remember, that Brad Stevens, they basically said, they were like, well, you look at Isaiah Thomas. He's such a limited player, even though he's an excellent scorer. He's such a limited player, and look at how successful he was under Brad Stevens' system. They thought it was a system or something, when in reality it's chemistry. There's the system and there's chemistry. People have to like playing with each other. Kyrie Irving came in, and there was so much drama. It was every single day. There was a new story out about Kyrie, or Tatum doesn't like this, or Marcus Smart said this, or Brown said this, and they have not recovered since then. Kyrie's been gone 2 years. It's hard to believe. It's been gone 2 years now. This will be a second year, and he's still like in that locker room whispering to people like, hey, you're better than that guy. You're actually better than that guy. And they're arguing with each other. So I agree with you. They have to blow it up. They have to rip out the cancer. They have to choose which cancer to keep, because you got to keep one cancer because they're a talented cancer. But you got to rip out one of those cancers, and you got to find some sustenance, because this team is rotting.
Now, let's be honest here. I said it before. Tatum is. Should they go with Jason Tatum? Me personally, I would actually take Brown over Tatum because of.
You said that, yeah.
Because of the attitude. He is more likely to be he's more likely, I think Ime Udoka is more likely going to be able to convince him that if we share the he's going to be more of he'll have more of that team player attitude than Tatum will. And like I said, don't get me wrong. Tatum is an incredible scorer. He is, but his attitude sucks. It's a chemistry killer. That type of an attitude is a chemistry killer. And I'm going to place blame on the whole organization. I'm talking from ownership, from Grossbeck, all the way down to the players, the individual players themselves. One of the biggest problems the Celtics have are the Celtics their own worst enemy. They are their own worst enemy. You remember that those couple of years where Danny Ainge spent all this collateral gathering picks together, and everybody thought he was going to make these big.
They call him a genius.
Well, that's what I mean. That for those couple of years that he I think he spent 3 seasons just gathering all these picks together, and that was right around when Kevin Durant and all these big like top 10 guys were becoming free agents. Remember, there was one season that Durant and like 3 or 4 other really big names were were free agents and searching for new teams, or could be wooed from other teams to from their.
Could you
team.
imagine?
They had all these picks, and they had Danny Ainge had multiple opportunities to package some of those picks and some of the players we had at the time to get some of these guys, to get some of these guys on the Celtics. The Celtics are their own worst enemy. Their upper management overvalues their own guys. The only person that should be there should be one person on this team that's untouchable, and the front office needs to pick whether it is Tatum or Brown. And
I agree.
Everybody else is on everybody else. They should be taking phone calls for. And then last and not least, so the ownership and the coaching absolutely gets blamed for it. Last but not least, the Celtics have not had a good bench in years.
Yeah.
In years.
Since Terry Rozier left.
It's been years since they've had a good, solid bench that they could rely on to take pressure off the starters. Ime Udoka, Brad Stevens, their bench has been terrible.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. And I agree with you. They have to. The reason why they have to. Here's the thing. The reason why they have to do what you just said, to add on to your point, is that Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown are individual talents. The difference is, or the person you can compare them to, the people you compare is Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. 2 guys, right? They do the same thing. They literally do the same thing. Like, they shoot. Now, Curry is obviously an elite ball handler and an amazing point guard, but they're both guards and they shoot the ball. So you would think, well, that's my thing. I can't have another guy doing that, but it works. And they won 3 championships with Kevin Durant, but they won 1 championship, just those 2 being the main offensive catalysts and stuff like that. So those guys grew up together. They were drafted, they grew up together, and they built a winning culture together. Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown are individuals growing separately on the same team. And that's not a teammate. That's not going to build a winning culture. You have to choose who leads your culture. They chose Steph Curry, and the Celtics haven't chose. The Celtics still haven't chose. It's been like 3 years and they haven't chose. Like first it was Kyrie Irving.
You want me to tell you why I think they haven't chose? Because I don't think they believe in either one of them. I think deep down, here's a hot take for you, Celtics Nation. Here's a hot take for you. The Celtics don't believe in either one of them. I think they see where this is going with Tatum and Brown, and they realize that they're probably Tatum, Brown, and Smart, and the rest of the two, but those 3 guys in particular, something has got to give. And I truly think that the reason why they haven't chose, because they don't believe in any one of them. I don't think they believe enough in any one of them to be like, we're going to go with this guy. I don't think they believe in him enough to do that.
Holy crap. I didn't even think of that
and you know what? And that scares the crap out of upper management, because then they go, then upper management, you got Brad Stevens and Grossbeck going, oh shit, what do we do now?
The walls are closing in now. You know what I mean? Because you're literally burning money at this point, if that's the case. If you don't, oh man, I didn't even think about that. It's very possible. That's the thing. It's because that's the thing. It's not even Embiid and Simmons, because the Philadelphia 76ers are all in on Simmons and have been not Simmons, Embiid. They're all in on Embiid. Embiid is our guy. Simmons, take him or leave him. But Embiid is our guy. That's literally what they are. You're right. The Celtics fandom is not necessarily sold on Tatum. So why would the management be? I didn't even think about that, actually. You got the pulse of the nation.
They're not sold on either one of them. I'm just saying, to me, the more moldable, coachable player that I would like to have.
Hey, Joe Galloway. Shout out to Joe.
Member. Appreciate that, man.
Member King.
So, when it comes to the Celtics, I'm old school. I want a guy that's coachable. I want a guy that's going to play for the team, that's going to use his teammates and that's going to elevate the team to play better around him. I think Brown's more capable of doing that than Tatum because he actually cares about the team. I don't think Tatum cares one bit about. I think there's a bunch of bullshit and lies that we're being fed as Celtic fans that Tatum cares about the team. No, he don't. No, he doesn't.
Bro, that's actually a really, really good point too, because remember whenever there was rumors that, and obviously AD didn't do this, but like AD was going to get traded for Tatum to the Celtics basically, and Tatum like leaned into those rumors. He was like, well, yeah, whatever, we'll see what happens. And he was okay with it.
Because you don't want to know why what would happen? Because if AD was traded to this, you want to know why Tatum is the way he is and the way, because if a legitimate superstar, it's almost like you act like a gangster until a real gangster walks in the room. Tatum acts like a superstar until a real superstar walks in the room.
Damn. That's interesting.
Tatum,
and
Tatum, and here's, I'm telling you, I don't mean to, dude, I told you I was going to flame these guys today. I wasn't happy. Tatum is fake it till you make it.
Oof. Damn. See, I see Tatum like a Paul George, but it's hard to say when he's losing like this. Paul George at least had a couple 50-win seasons as the guy. Tatum wasn't even the guy when he had a 50-win season. So it's tough to say. Yeah,
they haven't chosen. The Celtics haven't made a decision between Brown and Tatum because I don't think they believe in either one of them enough to say with vigor and with conviction that this is our guy. This is our.
And why would they? No one's taking the lead either. That's a good. No one's taking the lead, man. Like no one's saying like, all right, it's my team. And if they do, the other guy goes, actually, it's my team. But at some point, you either got to say it's our team or it's this guy's team. You can't just kind of be wishy-washy. Wishy-washiness is how you end up out of the playoffs. That's how you end up out of the playoffs.
Well,
for
it
sure.
gets you nowhere too. What does it accomplish? Nothing. You have to pick a direction. I respect the teams that pick a direction and just see it through. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and then they start and they go again. But this team has no direction. They're a ship without a rudder.
What if? Here's another hot take. Everybody, put on your hat. I just thought of this.
Put on the tinfoil hats.
Put it on, dude. What if they re-signed Isaiah Thomas? I know he's older. Now, but he dropped 60 in that one league, and then he comes into the NBA. He went, I think it was 11 for like 16 or something like that. What do they have to lose? Even off the bench, what do they have to lose? Like, who's their starting point guard right now? Isn't it Marcus Smart?
I know. The Celtics have two biggest problems.
You might as well.
Chemistry and leadership. Because even the teams after the 2008 championship, at least they played for one another. You know what I mean?
Yes.
At least they played for one another and played for the team and truly enjoyed playing as a team. This team hates each other.
Kevin Garnett almost dropped like 30 points a game at one point, but when he went to the Celtics, he only had like 18 points a game and was the defensive juggernaut. Like this
team hates each other, JD. Don't let them Boston media. I'm telling you, if you're a Celtic fan, do not listen to the Boston media telling you that, because they're trying to blow a rainbow up your ass. This team does not like each other. It doesn't. They don't, because if they, so there were multiple times in the game last night, and I might have not have streamed the game, but I watched that game from start to end. And listen, there were multiple times in that game where Tatum or Brown had the basketball, and the smart play would be to push the ball up the court because people were in better positions to shoot than them. And what'd they do? They kept it for themselves, played iso ball, drove to the hoop.
Yeah, that's just not going to do it, man. It's just not going to do it. You have to play aggressive for each other. You have to play aggressive for the team and just let the chips fall. And I think you should be going for, and this is the biggest problem, I think, with a lot of new stars in the league. They look for stats and they look for the wrong stats. You should be, if you're a young guy, you should be looking, all right, man, I want to shoot above 50% for the field. I want at least 5 assists. And I want to make sure that my plus minus is really good on defense. I want to make sure my defense is really good. I don't want anyone scoring on me. That's the actual smart mentality to do it and let the chips fall. But instead, guys are like, I got to get to 30 tonight. That is not the right mentality.
Jason Tatum on a nightly basis. I have to get. It's me.